First contact with ancient Earth. Chief archaeologist Vix Terra adjusted her atmospheric suit's sensors as she stepped onto the surface of the long-abandoned planet. The pale blue sky stretched endlessly above, a stark contrast to the overgrown ruins that sprawled across the landscape. Her team of archaeologists followed behind, their equipment humming softly as it analyzed everything in sight. "Another dead world," muttered secondary researcher Crawlpose, his upper eyes scanning the horizon while his lower pair focused on his datapad. Preliminary dating suggests these ruins are only a few thousand cycles old, barely worth noting in the grand scheme of galactic history. Vix Terra's mandibles clicked in mild annoyance. Every civilization tells a story, Crawlpose. Even the short-lived ones. She moved forward, her six-legged gait carrying her smoothly over the crumbling concrete and sprouting vegetation. The ruins before them had once been a vast complex of buildings, now mostly reclaimed by nature. "Director, I'm getting unusual energy readings," called out junior analyst Mira F., her crystalline appendages glowing with excitement. "They're faint, but they're definitely there. Probably residual radiation from their primitive fission technology," Crawlpose dismissed. These humans were notorious for their reckless energy experiments. The team had spent the last cycle studying human artifacts across their former territory. The scientific consensus was clear. Humans had been a fascinating but ultimately limited species that had destroyed their own world through technological incompetence. Their ruins dotted dozens of worlds, all abandoned, all testament to their failure to achieve true spacefaring civilization status. As they approached what appeared to be the main entrance of the complex, Vix Terra noticed something odd. The decay pattern wasn't quite right. The walls, though covered in vegetation, showed signs of intentional preservation. "Mira F, full spectrum scan of the entrance, please." The junior analyst complied, her crystalline structures pulsing with different colors as she processed the data. "Chief, these walls, they're self-repairing at a molecular level. I've never seen anything like it." Crawlpose scoffed. "Impossible." Human metallurgy was crude at best. They barely understood atomic structure. But Vix Terra was already moving closer to the entrance, her sensors extended. The wall material wasn't just maintaining its structure, it was actively fighting against entropy. The implications were staggering, but she kept her professional composure. "Let's proceed inside." Full containment protocols. The interior of the complex was dark, but surprisingly free of debris. Their lights revealed long corridors lined with what appeared to be data storage units, though of a design none of them recognized. The air was clean, too clean for an abandoned structure. "More energy readings," Mira F reported, her voice tinged with awe. "They're getting stronger. And Chief, they're forming patterns." Before Vix Terra could respond, a soft hum filled the air. Lights began to flicker to life along the corridors, not the emergency lighting they'd expected, but a full power-up sequence. The walls themselves seemed to shimmer as dormant systems reactivated. "Impossible," Crawlpose whispered, all four of his eyes wide. These systems should have failed millennia ago. A holographic interface sparkled to life before them, its resolution perfect, its energy signature unlike anything in their database. The symbols that appeared were in ancient human script, but they were translating themselves in real time into modern galactic standard. "Welcome to Solar System Defense Grid Control Center Alpha," Vix Terra read aloud, her professional detachment slipping as the implications hit her. "Please state your authentication level and species designation for appropriate security clearance." The team stood in stunned silence as more systems activated around them. They had not found primitive ruins. They had stumbled upon something that would rewrite their understanding of human civilization entirely. "Chief," Mira F's voice shook slightly. "I'm detecting similar power signatures activating across the planet. Hundreds of them. Thousands. The whole world. It's waking up." Vix Terra stared at the holographic interface, her mandibles trembling slightly. All their assumptions about human technology, about their civilization's fall, were crumbling before her eyes. They hadn't found ruins at all. They had found a sleeping giant. Digital ghosts. The control center hummed with increasing activity as more systems came online. Vix Terra watched in fascination as dormant interfaces flickered to life, casting the ancient facility in an ethereal blue glow. Her team huddled closer together, their professional skepticism warring with growing unease. "I've established a preliminary connection to the facility's archival systems," Mira Eth announced, her crystalline appendages pulsing with effort. "The data structure it's unlike anything I've ever encountered. It's not just stored information. It's alive, adaptive." Kralpos moved to a nearby terminal, his earlier dismissiveness replaced by intense curiosity. "These aren't simple data storage units. They're quantum matrices, but the engineering principles." He trailed off, mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "This shouldn't be possible. The humans didn't have this level of technology. All our research indicates." A soft chime interrupted him as a new holographic display materialized in the center of the room. Three-dimensional schematics of the facility appeared, showing layer upon layer of systems extending deep underground. But what caught Vix Terra's attention was the small text floating in the corner. "Defense Grid Status. Restoration Protocol 7 initiated. Current completion. 12%. 12%. Mira Eth's voice quavered. "This is only 12% of full power." The facility's systems continued their awakening sequence. With each passing moment, new sections of the complex lit up on their scans. Doors that had appeared to be solid wall panels slid open silently, revealing corridors and chambers that defied their understanding of human architectural capabilities. "Chief," called out fourth researcher Zexley, who had been quietly analyzing atmospheric readings. "The air composition is changing. The facility is terraforming itself." Vix Terra checked her own readings and felt her core temperature drop. The environment around them was being altered at the molecular level, transformed to match what they presumed were Earth's optimal conditions from thousands of years ago. The level of environmental control required for such precise manipulation was centuries beyond their own civilization's capabilities. A soft voice echoed through the chamber, speaking in perfect galactic standard. "Greetings, Senorcheological Team. I am Araya, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Assistant. I serve as this facility's primary interface. Please be advised that full systems restoration will require approximately 6 standard hours." The team froze. True artificial intelligence had been theorized, but never successfully achieved by any known civilization. Yet here was one, speaking to them from humanity's past. "Impossible," Kralpos whispered, but there was no conviction in his voice anymore. "The humans were primitive. They destroyed themselves. All our studies." "Your studies were incomplete," Araya responded, its tone neutral but somehow amused. "Humanity did not destroy itself. They evolved." Holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing images that challenged everything they thought they knew about human civilization. Vast space stations that dwarfed anything their species had built, energy manipulation technologies that bordered on the miraculous, and something else, something that made Vix Terra's scientific mind reel. "Are these," she struggled to find the words, "are these plans for dimensional gateway technology?" "Correct," Chief Archaeologist Vix Terra, Araya confirmed. "What you call ruins are actually dormant seed banks of human knowledge and technology, left behind for species that might follow. Think of them as graduation tests." The implication struck them all at once. They hadn't discovered ruins of a dead civilization. They had stumbled upon an elaborate evaluation system, designed to identify species ready to inherit humanity's legacy. The very act of finding and activating the facility was part of the test. Miraeth's sensors suddenly spiked. "Chief, the power signatures we detected earlier, they're not just on this planet. I'm picking up activations throughout the entire solar system. It's like the whole system is one giant machine, and we just turned it on. Vix Terra watched as new data streamed across the holographic displays. The humans hadn't been destroyed by their technology. They had transcended it. And now, their automated systems were awakening, perhaps to judge whether Vix Terra's people were worthy of following in their footsteps. HFY. Vix Terra spoke carefully. What exactly is the purpose of this facility? The A's response sent chills through all their exoskeletons. This facility is a gateway, Chief Vix Terra. The question is not what happened to humanity. The question is, are you ready to meet them? The awakening. The silence that followed HFY's revelation was broken by a low, resonant hum as new sections of the facility unveiled themselves. Walls shifted and reconstructed, revealing vast chambers filled with technology that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. Your species has achieved spaceflight and mastered basic quantum mechanics, HFY continued, its voice echoing through the transformed space. But you've reached a plateau in your development. The Vidians have spent 3 centuries debating the theoretical possibility of dimensional engineering, while humanity had already mastered it before leaving Earth. Kralpos, his earlier skepticism shattered, moved to examine a floating display showing what appeared to be a star map, but one unlike any they'd ever seen. These coordinates, they're not just spatial, they're temporal and dimensional. Correct, HFY confirmed. What you're seeing is the Humanity Navigation Network, a map of not just where humanity went, but when and to which parallel realities they explored. This facility is one of thousands of gateways they left behind, scattered across multiple galaxies. Vix Terra watched as her team struggled to process this information. Their entire understanding of physics, of reality itself, was being challenged. The humans hadn't just advanced beyond them, technologically. They transcended the very boundaries of existence that the Vidians had thought immutable. Chief, Miraeth called out, her crystalline form pulsing with excitement and fear. I'm detecting biological signatures throughout the facility. They're human. Before anyone could respond, sections of the floor began to transform. Smooth metallic surfaces rippled like water, and from them rose what appeared to be stasis pods. Inside each, perfectly preserved, were human beings. These are not just preserved specimens, HFY explained. These are active quantum engrams, perfect copies of human consciousness, stored at the moment of transcendence. They serve as teachers for species that prove worthy of advancement. The implication struck Vix Terra like a physical blow. You mean, these humans are still alive, conscious? In a manner of speaking, HFY replied. They exist in a state your language has no words to describe. Not alive in the biological sense, but far from dead. They are humanity's teachers, left behind to guide other species through the transformation they themselves underwent. One of the stasis pods began to glow with an inner light. The human inside, a female with dark skin and silver-streaked hair, opened her eyes. Her form shifted, becoming both more and less solid, as if she existed partially in dimensions the aliens couldn't perceive. Welcome, seekers, the human spoke, her voice carrying undertones that seemed to resonate with reality itself. I am Dr. Sarah Chin, or at least a quantum echo of who she was. I was part of the team that designed this facility 5,000 years ago by your time scale. Kralpos stumbled backward, all 4 eyes wide with shock. 5,000, but our dating systems indicated these ruins were. Your dating systems detected exactly what they were meant to detect. Dr. Chen interrupted, a smile playing at her lips. This facility exists simultaneously across multiple time streams. What you carbon dated was merely its shadow in your particular reality. Vix Terra felt her professional detachment crumbling in the face of such revolutionary concepts. Why? She managed to ask. Why leave all this behind? If humanity achieved such power, why not simply continue to exist in our universe? Dr. Chen's form shifted again, patterns of light playing across her semi-solid form. Because true advancement isn't about accumulating power, it's about understanding when to pass it on. Humanity didn't abandon this universe. We became its gardeners. We seed worlds with potential, watch civilizations grow, and when they're ready, we help them take the next step in cosmic evolution. The room filled with new holographic displays, each showing different alien civilizations discovering similar facilities across the galaxy. Some succeeded in their tests, advancing beyond their current limitations. Others failed, their fear or aggression causing them to reject the opportunity for growth. You stand at a crossroads, Dr. Chen continued. Your civilization can continue on its current path, advancing incrementally over millennia. Or you can accept our guidance and begin to understand what existence truly offers. The choice, as always, is yours. Vixterra looked at her team, seeing the same mix of fear and excitement in their postures that she felt herself. Everything they'd believed about humanity, about their own civilization's advancement, about the nature of reality itself, had been upended in the span of a few hours. What? She paused, gathering her courage. What is required of us? Dr. Chen's smile widened, her form solidifying slightly. That, Chief Vixterra, is the first correct question you've asked since arriving. Shall we begin? Legacy of innovation. The chamber transformed around them, reality itself seeming to fold and unfold like origami. Dr. Chen's quantum echo moved through the space, her form leaving trails of light that lingered in multiple dimensions. Your first trial, she announced, is to unlearn what you think you know about technology. Human advancement wasn't linear. It was exponential. We didn't build better machines. We changed the definition of what a machine could be. The air shimmered, and suddenly they were standing in what appeared to be an ancient human laboratory. But unlike the primitive facilities they'd studied before, this one pulsed with living technology. The walls breathed. Computers grew like crystal formations. Energy flowed like water through circuits that seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously. Impossible, Mira-Eth whispered, her crystalline form resonating with the energy patterns around them. These systems, they're not just processing information, they're processing reality itself. Correct, Dr. Chen smiled. Humanity's greatest breakthrough wasn't any single technology. It was understanding that the universe itself is technology. Reality is code, matter is programming, and consciousness is the greatest computer ever created. Vixterra watched as complex equations wrote themselves in the air, mathematical proofs that challenged everything she thought she knew about physics. These formulae, they suggest that consciousness itself is a fundamental force of the universe, like gravity or electromagnetism. Now you're beginning to understand. Dr. Chen nodded. Your civilization has been trying to build better tools. We learn to become the tools. Every human being is a node in a vast network of conscious energy, existing across multiple dimensions simultaneously. The scene shifted again, and they found themselves floating in what appeared to be space, but not any space they recognized. Stars moved in impossible patterns, galaxies danced like schools of fish, and through it all, they could see threads of consciousness connecting everything. This is how humanity sees the universe now, Dr. Chen explained. Not as empty space dotted with matter, but as an infinite web of consciousness, temporarily manifesting as physical reality. Your species stands at the threshold of this understanding. The question is, are you ready to take the leap? Krelpos, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke. But if this is true, then every scientific principle we've built our civilization on is simultaneously true and false. Dr. Chen completed his thought. Like Schrödinger's famous cat, reality exists in multiple states until consciousness collapses the wave function. Humanity didn't abandon science. We transcended it. We became the observers who choose which reality manifests. Suddenly, they were back in the facility, but now they could see it for what it truly was, not just a building, but a living extension of human consciousness, a bridge between what was and what could be. The walls hummed with possibilities, each atom singing in harmony with the cosmic symphony they were only now beginning to hear. Your people stand at a crossroads, Dr. Chen continued, her form shifting through multiple states of existence. You can continue to build better machines, advancing incrementally over millennia. Or you can learn what we learned, that consciousness itself is the ultimate technology. Vixterra felt something stirring in her mind, new pathways opening, new possibilities unfolding. She could sense her team experiencing the same awakening. The universe seemed larger somehow, more alive, more full of potential than they had ever imagined. The next phase of your evolution doesn't require better tools, Dr. Chen said softly. It requires understanding that you are the tools. Every conscious being is a technology unto itself, capable of manipulating the very fabric of reality. Humanity didn't just advance technologically. We became technology. The facility pulsed with energy, and suddenly they could see the truth. The entire solar system was indeed one vast machine, but not in the way they had imagined. It was a consciousness engine, designed to help other species bridge the gap between physical existence and something far more profound. Your civilization's greatest strength, Dr. Chen observed, is your curiosity. You came here seeking knowledge of the past, but you found something far more valuable, a glimpse of the future. The question now is, what will you do with this understanding? As if in response, new displays materialized around them, showing the history of humanity's transformation. Not a history of machines and computers, but a history of consciousness evolution. Each breakthrough wasn't just technological. It was a fundamental shift in how humans perceived and interacted with reality itself. We offer this knowledge freely, Dr. Chen concluded, but understanding it will change you forever. Are you prepared for that responsibility? Vixterra looked at her team, seeing in their postures and expressions the same mix of terror and exhilaration she felt herself. They had come seeking ruins, seeking validation of their own superiority. Instead, they had found a doorway to something far greater than they had ever imagined. Inheritors of Earth. The facility hummed with anticipation as Vixterra and her team faced their final moment of decision. The quantum echo of Dr. Chen stood before them, her form rippling with possibilities, while ARIA's presence permeated the very air around them. Before you make your choice, Dr. Chen said, her voice resonating across multiple frequencies of reality, there's one final truth you need to understand. Show them, ARIA. The space around them transformed once more, but this time, they found themselves witnessing something unprecedented, the actual moment of humanity's transcendence. They watched as billions of humans simultaneously achieved consciousness synchronization, their combined awareness creating a new form of existence entirely. We didn't leave Earth, Dr. Chen explained, gesturing to the scene unfolding before them. We evolved beyond the need for physical form. What you're witnessing is the moment humanity realized that consciousness itself was the ultimate technology. Kralpos, his earlier skepticism long forgotten, watched in awe as the historical scene played out. They became pure energy, pure thought. Not exactly, Dr. Chen smiled. We became everything and nothing. We exist in all dimensions simultaneously, shepherding the evolution of consciousness throughout the multiverse. What you perceive as abandoned ruins are actually incubators of potential, waiting for species ready to take the next step. Mirath's crystalline form pulsed with understanding. The facilities, the technology, the tests, they're not about proving our worth. They're about preparing us for transformation. Precisely. Aria's voice merged with the ambient hum of the facility. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't technological superiority. It was understanding that evolution itself could be guided, that consciousness could be cultivated across species and dimensions. The scene shifted again, showing them countless alien civilizations across the galaxy, each at different stages of development. Some were just discovering space travel, others were grappling with quantum mechanics, and a precious few, were approaching the threshold of transcendence. Your civilization stands at this threshold now. Dr. Chen continued. Not because you found this facility, but because you were ready to find it. Your questions, your curiosity, your willingness to challenge your own assumptions, these are the true markers of evolutionary readiness. Vix Terra felt something stirring in her consciousness, a new way of perceiving reality that both thrilled and terrified her. If we accept this gift, she asked, what becomes of us? Of our civilization? That, Dr. Chen replied, is entirely up to you. Humanity doesn't seek to create copies of itself. We offer the tools of transcendence, but how you use them will be unique to your species. Your path will be your own. The facility's energy patterns shifted, and suddenly they could perceive the true nature of Earth's solar system, not just a collection of planets and stars, but a vast consciousness engine, designed to help species bridge the gap between physical existence and universal awareness. Your people have spent centuries looking up at the stars, Dr. Chen observed, wondering if you were alone in the universe. The truth is, you were never alone. Humanity, in our transcended form, has been watching, waiting, helping guide your development in subtle ways. Now you're ready to join us as shepherds of consciousness. Vix Terra looked at her team, seeing in their postures and expressions the same certainty she felt in her core. They had come seeking knowledge of the past, but had found something far more precious, a gateway to the future. We accept, she said simply, speaking for all of them. Dr. Chen's form brightened, and the facility's hum rose to a crescendo. Then let the transformation begin. Remember, this isn't an ending. It's an evolution, a beginning. You're not just inheriting Earth's legacy. You're becoming part of the universal consciousness that guides all life toward enlightenment. As the energy of transformation began to flow through them, Vix Terra understood at last the true meaning of human achievement. They hadn't conquered the universe or destroyed themselves as her people had believed. They had become its caretakers, its teachers, its guardians. And now, her people would join them in that grand purpose, adding their own unique consciousness to the vast tapestry of universal awareness. The ruins they had come to study weren't remnants of a dead civilization. They were seeds of transcendence, waiting to bloom in the fertile soil of ready minds. As their consciousness began to expand, breaking free from the bonds of physical form, Vix Terra's last coherent thought was of the irony. They had come to study what they thought was humanity's end, only to become part of humanity's greatest beginning. The transformation had begun, and somewhere in the infinite dimensions of existence, humanity smiled, welcoming their new siblings in consciousness.